Okay, so we have the amplitude is 2 for this function. And then I'm going to go, this means this phase shift is going right pi over 2. And the vertical shift is I'm moving it up 1. In the period, the number in front of theta is still 1, so the period's 2 pi. So the way I do this is, if I'm going up 1, I'm going to let this be my baseline or my new 0 point. And if my amplitude is 2, I'm going to go up 2 from here, and then I'm going to go down 2 from that red line. And then I'm going to put my starting at right pi over 2. So this is pi over 2. So now my period's going to go from here to here, or cycle's going to go from here to here, or from these two to these two. So I'm going to get a cycle here and a cycle here. It's a positive sine function, so this is already broken up into force. So I'm going to go up max to the 0, which is our red line, min, 0, max, 0, min. So now my function looks like this. So I think these lines of up and down really help. And then number 2, my amplitude is 3, and the period is still going to be, pi over 2, or 2 pi, oops, misspoke. The phase shift is going to go left pi over 4, and the vertical shift, you're going to move it down 2. So I'm going to go down 2, make my red line, and then my blue is going to be, the blue is going to be where it's going to oscillate, so it's going to be 3, so it's going to be up 3 from the red line, down 3 from the red line, and I'm going to start at left pi over 4. So here on the red line is pi over 4. So I'm going to go up 2 pi from that, which is going to be right here. And I'm going to go back 2 pi, which is going to be right here. So I'm going to have to make a cycle of let's see, this is cosine. So actually, I'm not going to start, this is where my cycles begin and end, but it's cosine and it was positive, so I'm going to start up high. Then halfway in between, I'm going to go to my 0, and then I'm going to jump up another pi over 2 and go to my min. Then I'm going to jump up another pi over 2 and go to my 0, jump up another pi over 2, which brings me to the end of that cycle. So if I go backwards this way, I'm going to have a 0, jump left pi over 2, and you're going to have a min, jump left pi over 2, and you're going to have a 0, and then you're going to have a max. So it looks like this once you connect the dots. Okay, and I'll do one more here. So amplitude, this one is a sine function. The amplitude's 1, the period's 2 pi, the phase shift is right pi over 2, and then I'm going up 2. Right pi over 4. So then I'm going to make, if I'm starting up 2, here's my red line, and then it's going to oscillate between these two, and I'm going to start right pi over 2. So I'm going to start, or right pi over 4, that was pi over 4. So this is pi over 4 right here. So this is going to be a cycle between the blue lines. Between the blue lines here is going to be a cycle, and the blue line right here is going to be a cycle. So this was a sine function, so sine's going to start on the red, and it was a positive sine. So it's going to go in between here and here. It's going to start right here in the middle. And then pi over 2 down, it's going to go max. Over pi over 2, it's going to go 0. Over pi over 2, it's going to go min, 0. And keep going.